August 5th, 2024. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning. Whenever you may be listening to this broadcast, this message, this audio recording, this video, this declaration, this proclamation, and by now you know it is whatever you want to call it. You can love it, you can hate it, you can despise it. Makes no difference to me. You can do all those things while free speech is available. Voice your opinion, how much you hate it in the comment section. Send it out to everybody you know. Send all these broadcasts out to everybody you know. Because we are living in perilous times. And war is on the horizon. If you just look over the hill just a little bit, you'll see war on the horizon for the United States of America as we rush warships and naval squadrons out there to support Israel. Getting ourselves involved in more entanglements we need not to be involved with. Getting ourselves involved with more wars and more people to die than we need. Always focusing on what's going on outside and never on what's going on the inside as we collapse, as we crumble to the ground, as we're beaten down in submission, as we're wore out, and we're spread thin across the board as the people of the United States of America, as we continue to spend millions and billions of dollars on our military industrial complex and our thirst and our greed, and our campaign to stay the way we are and change nothing about the real problems going on as the so-called leaders stand up and tell you about all the great things they're going to do and promise you the world and tell you every single thing you want to hear, and you eat it up. You love it. You just can't wait for them to continue to lie to you. And that's why I'm coming on with this broadcast as the rains continue to come down here in Clearwater. They continue to flow in non-stop with just a break in the action now, waiting for the next band to come in. as the war meter ticks, as Israel waits for a response from Iran, a promised retaliation, fixing us to send us into another war, which I've been talking about week in and week out. If you want more in-depth on that, you need to go back to the Iran rumors video, broadcast, message. You need to go back and you need to listen to that. I believe it was also titled The Morals and Dogma of Adolf Hitler. It was in depth on Adolf Hitler's speeches that he gave as he came into power in 1933 over the German people, and his exit speech in which they were spread thin in war, and he exhorted his people to fight to the bitter end, tooth and nail, in sickness, in health, whatever. He didn't tell the people it was over. He told them to keep going forward. As we witness the end of a wicked time in history. And now we have our time in history as the people of the United States. Most of those people who had that time in history, they've passed on, they've gone on. Some are still alive. But they are watching how much their country has changed and all that they fought for slipping away, as they see a nation that they probably don't even recognize, because it is nothing more, nothing less than a mess out there, people. And yet we're talking about getting involved in more war, which we've got no business getting into, people. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said on Saturday that revenge will be severe at an appropriate time, place, and manner, blaming the terrorist Zionist regime for Hayana's death. The Iranian attack on Israel in response to the assassination of Hamas political bureau leader Ismail Haniyeh in Iran last week is expected to come as early as Monday. 3 U.S. and Israeli officials told Axios reporter Barak Ravid on Sunday. Michael Eric Kurilla, commander of the U.S. Central Command, arrived in the Middle East early Sunday morning amid Hezbollah and Iran threats against Israel, Walla reported on Sunday, citing 2 senior officials, U.S. officials. The aim of the visit which was planned before the current escalation, is to prepare a coalition to counter such threats, the report added. Israel on high alert at Iran threatens revenge. Several Iranian officials vowed that the country would avenge Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh assassination as Israel remains on high alert for potential attack, and the United States is sending additional forces to the region. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said on Saturday that revenge will be severe and at an appropriate time, place, and manner, blaming the terrorist Zionist regime of Haniyeh's death. In addition, the permanent mission of the Islamic Republic of Iran to the United Nations told CBS News in an exclusive on Friday that Hezbollah would begin deliberately targeting civilians, claiming that it had not done so until now. The Lebanese-based terrorist group has reportedly decided to increase its targets and attacks in response to the assassination of its commander, Fuad Shakur. Until now, Hezbollah and the Zionist regime have, in an unwritten understanding, practically adhered to certain limits in their military operations, meaning that confining their actions to border areas and the shallow zones, targeting primary and military objectives, a spokesman from the delegation told CBS News. However, the regime's attack on Dahiyat in Beirut, and the targeting of a residential building marked a deviation from these boundaries. Spokesman said, "We anticipate that in a response, Hezbollah will choose both border and deeper targets and will not restrict itself solely to military targets in the means." An Israeli official told CBS News that while Iran's April 13 attack was thwarted, Israel was anticipating a more aggressive retaliation this time around, a retaliation which could extend to the Israeli interests abroad. The U.S. military will deploy additional fighter jets and Navy warships to the Middle East, the Pentagon said on Friday, as Washington seeks to bolster defenses following threats from Iran and its allies Hamas and Hezbollah. The U.S. is bracing for Iran to make good on its vow to respond to the killing of Hayani 2 days ago in the Iran capital of Tehran. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin had approved sending additional Navy cruisers and destroyers which can shoot down ballistic missiles to the Middle East and Europe. Austin had ordered adjustments to U.S. military posture designed to improve force protection, to increase the support and defense of Israel, and to ensure the United States is prepared to respond to various contingencies, the Pentagon said in a statement. There had been speculations that the Pentagon might not replace the USS Theodore Roosevelt Carrier Strike Group in the Middle East once it has completed its ongoing deployment, but Austin decided to rotate the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group to replace it. The Pentagon statement added it would increase readiness to deploy more land ballistic missile defenses. The U.S. military also intensified deployments prior to April 13th when Iran launched an attack on Israeli territory with drones and missiles. Still, the threat from Hezbollah in Lebanon could present unique challenges to any efforts of Washington to intercept drones and missiles given to the group. Vast arsenal and immediate proximity to the Jewish state. At the time, Israel successfully shot down almost all of roughly 300 drone missiles with the help of the United States and other allies. Earlier, Pentagon spokesman Sabrina Singh said that the U.S. did not believe escalation was inevitable. "I think we are being very direct in our messaging. That certainly we do. That certainly we don't want to see heightened tensions, and we do believe there is an off-ramp. And that is the ceasefire deal," Singh said. An Israeli delegation will travel to Cairo see here. An Israeli delegation will travel to Cairo in the coming days for negotiations to reach a Gaza ceasefire and hostage release deal, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said on Friday. So there you have it, people. There you have it. I've been talking about this for a very long time, ever since this all kicked off. I've tried to show you through evidence and reporting and diligence and research that that's the goal of the United States of America and Israel, the Zionist state of Israel, is to go into Iran, is for more war, is for more the military-industrial complex, is for more mass sacrifice, is for more death and destruction. They talk about peace. There's always peace behind these things. There's no peace to be found. Because that's not what they really want, people. That's not what they really want. And I don't know what it's going to take for you people to wake up. But it appears that there will be war broke out before either of these two lackeys, these two tyrants, are selected into office. We have to wake up to this. We have to understand what is going on before us so we do not buy the lies when they are given. And there are going to be a lot of lies coming forth from all this. They've been lying about a lot of things. It's all coming in like a blitz, like I keep talking about, coming in like a hurricane, no pun intended. And you need to be paying attention. You need to be watching, and you need not to be deceived by the liars coming on screen to deceive you. That is the reality of it all.
Future. Do you care about your children's future and your, Lord willing, your grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren are going to have a future? What if our great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents had the mental stagnant complacency that we have? What if they had this careless attitude of go about your zombified day and do your duty and just go home and go to sleep and do it all over again? What if the founders what if your grandparents, great-great-grandparents, and even all the way back to the founders of this country, what if all the generations before us had this stagnant, complacent, la-di-da attitude that they didn't care about nothing? You think you would have grew up in the age of freedom that you had? You think you'd have had them golden years? You think the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s would have been as good as they were? No, it would have been like communist Russia. It would have been worse than communist China. It would have been like socialism. It would have been socialist fascist dictatorship under the Nazi regime. It would have been the symbol of the world would have been a boot on the throat of the people. Okay? That's what it would have been had they not stood up, had they not understood. Okay? That's where we're headed. That's where the world is headed. The symbol of the coming world, if people do nothing except care about mindless entertainment and football and gambling and porno and sex outside of marriage and mindless mongoloid entertainment, the symbol of the world will be the boot on the throat of the people. And the Bible says we deserve it because we've gone a-whoring after our idols. We've made sports an idolatry. We've made these filthy Hollywood stars our idol. Okay? The Bible says the Lord is so long-suffering. The hand of the Lord, the hand of protection of the Lord is still on this nation. It's evident to me. A lot of people say, oh, he took his hand away. He hasn't taken his hand away yet. You'll know it when he takes his hand away. By then it'll be too late. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter who you get. Kamala Harris, Zionist. Donald Trump, Zionist. Okay? They look like they're against each other, but if you listen to what they say, they both got the same stated objectives in mind. The end outcome is the same no matter who you get. Okay? But I can tell when I'm in private conversation with people, I can tell who people's idol really is. When you say something truthful about Donald Trump and they look at you sideways and they stare off into the sky in anger. The Bible says, great peace have they that love thy law, and nothing shall offend them.